So what to keep in mind when you're writing? I always take the stance of thinking about who I'm writing for, and you're actually writing for three groups of people: the peer reviewers, program, and council, which is why it's so important to make sure when you're writing your grant proposal, you specifically, I always put down the strategic priority. So peer review, just so you know who they are, it consists of a scientific research officer. This individual, they are the person who organizes the review committee. A lot of review committees are standing, which means that all the members have agreed to be reviewers for 4 years, which is nice because they develop a culture. The culture is sort of handed down because people rotate on and off every year. And even some of the special emphasis panels at NIMH are standing committees. They just don't say they are, because special emphasis panels basically are special review groups that are put together specifically to address an area of science. Some of the institutes do this, not all of them do, but like the National Institute of Mental Health actually sets aside a part of their budget to have their own specialized review, because when they've seen their applications in the past go to what's called centralized review, which is a committee made up of people from all areas of health. The NIMH ones don't do as well because they, it's a very specialized area of science, right? So, but that's not to say that all of the NIMH proposals go to a special review. As Erin knows, there are centralized review of NIMH proposals, particularly the implementation science ones. Yeah, it's not. And what happens is that the SRO, and this is where your cover letter is so important, the SRO will take a look at all of the applications coming to their committee, and we'll make sure there's somebody with an expertise in your area of science on the review committee. And sometimes those reviewers are, if they're not on the standing committee, they will be invited. And there may be a whole bunch of proposals that they need an expert for. And if that's the case, the reviewer will come to the meeting in person. If not, they'll phone it in. And sometimes there are written reviewers too. So they feel like they just need, like, I did that recently where it was this huge machine learning kind of thing, and they just needed to make sure, get a gut check, like, is this important in geriatrics? They didn't see the need for me to have to sit through an entire review just to say, yes, this is an important area in geriatric mental health. So the SRO is the one who puts together a review. There is, you have your proposals reviewed by your peers, one of which is a chair. The chair of the committee is basically just, sometimes reviews proposals, but for the most part is overseeing the entire review and making sure that the reviewers aren't going off the rails when it comes to reviewing a proposal. So when I was a chair, I didn't review all of the proposals all the way through, but I did look at the reviewers' comments. And if I thought there was a huge discrepancy between the scores, and I saw like different things being said by different reviewers, then I would go and read the proposal myself so I could help guide the review. And so a lot of chairs, not all of them do, but a lot of chairs will do that just to make sure that, you get a fair review. Then there are the reviewers who are the experts, and you usually get 3 to 5 reviews per application. So you will have a content expert. They're usually the primary reviewer, and they do the most writing of your proposal. There's a secondary reviewer who's usually also an expert either in your area or in some aspect of your study design. And then there's a methods biostats person, who reviews like the scientific integrity of your approach. Everybody reviews all of the proposal. They don't like hand off, like you just read this piece and you read that piece. You read the whole proposal, but you have different kinds of experts looking at your proposal. So how the proposals are reviewed. So you'll hear a lot of lore about people reviewing grant proposals on an airplane. Probably doesn't happen that much anymore, on the airplane on their way to review. Basically, you're given about the proposals about 8 weeks before the review meeting happens. It's all done electronically. We get your proposals assigned to us through our Commons account. We have what's called a read phase. So we're given a certain amount of time to read all our proposals. And during that period of time, we actually write the reviews. I'll show you what that means in a moment. What happens is that we have to submit our reviews, and we're encouraged to submit our scores about a week before the meeting. The reason being is that the chair and the SRO wants all the reviewers to read each other's reviews, because we only have so much time to review each proposal, and they want to make sure that we're at least in some degree of consensus. Now, I have seen people do tricky things, because all you have to do is post your score. I always post my score in my review, and then as soon as I do, I can see everybody else's review. But I have gone in to try to read somebody's review, and the whole thing's blank. All I have is their score. So I don't have any idea as a reviewer as to why my score is different from that other person's review. And that's not really fair. There is a strong encouragement from the SRO and the chair to complete your reviews before you come, so that we at least have 24 hours to read the other reviewer's response. Then there's the review phase. It's usually about a day that we all get together, oftentimes in person, sometimes it's by phone. We're encouraged to spend about 5 minutes per application. So we have the internal reviewer, the small group, who has done the heavy lifting, but they have to present their review to the entire committee, because the entire committee scores your proposal, and that gets into your final score. After the review, we make some edits. We get to change our score if we've been convinced that it's better or worse than we thought it was. But then after that, it's closed, and we can't do anything past that.